Shalom, shalom. I do want to start off this lesson by saying all praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH for giving the opportunity to do a lesson today. I do want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching the truth about using precepts and line upon line. My name is RAWCHAA for the Kevin Prophets in Babylon and a branch of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, coming through another lesson. And today is a lesson about Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. Alright, and it states, "In the day 7 shall take hold of one man, saying, We will eat our own bread and wear our own apron. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach." Alright, and this day, and this is gonna happen very soon in Babylon the Great, where basically 7 women, and that goes into completion, a complete amount of women. Some brothers might have three, some other brothers might have 10, some brothers might have two or one, but it depends. It depends what YAHAWASHI want to give to that brother. But those amount of women is going to cleave unto the elect men for safety, for destruction, for disparity. Why? Because all hell is about to break loose very soon, and where America is going to be at a time of trouble, where the economy is going to crash, where people are rioting, where people is robbing stores, where people is killing people, where people is robbing people's houses. All right, Book of 2 chapter 16, verse 8. Well, 2 chapter 16, verse 16 talks about it. All right, where basically, Jacob trouble happens. All right, and let me read it so you guys could get an idea of what Jacob trouble is. That's Isaiah. What am I typing? Second Esdras chapter 16, verse 16. Let's go there. Well, no, 17. It says this: Woe is me, woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days? Verse 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mourning, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars and great power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? All right, so the prophet Esdras, he saw Jacob trouble, and he saw how wars was happening, famine was happening in diverse places, where the lack of bread was available for families. So he saw families dying. He saw families starving to death. He saw families eating their own kids or eating their own parents just so they could survive. You will see that happening in America very soon. The beginning of evils, that is Jacob's trouble. Verse 19 says, What? Behold, famine and plagues, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendments. All right, and those are sent towards what? Towards America for all the abominable works they have done. All right, and when all these things are happening, the woman is going to seek out for safety. They're going to seek out for help. They're going to seek out for somebody to save them, and that's going to be the elect men, the 144,000, the men of the Lord. They're going to grab and cleave to the elect men. All right, and the reason why I want to get into the topic of that was because a testimony that happened at work. All right, there was a situation where basically a woman was basically being followed by this man, a homeless man, and you gotta understand, like, this is the time where there's law enforcement, there's security guards, there's there's supposed to be safety, but she was still in trouble. All right. I was in the back. She came in the back, and this random man just came in the back with her. And at first, I just thought that I was, her husband or something like that. So I walked out, and she walked out with me. And says, "Do you know who that individual is?" I was like, "No." And she said, "Yo, this guy is following me." All right. And when that happened, I was like, "Damn." you know, she needs help, and she seeked out. She basically came to me. She was like, "Please help me, please help me." I looked, and that man had demons on him. He was, I believe he was an Edomite, but he had demons, a multitude of demons. Obviously I helped her out. I said, "Follow me, let's walk around," and he's gonna walk away, and he did. He eventually just, walked away. Um, so police came, they took him away, and all that stuff. They sorted everything out. But that opened my eyes of how quickly the woman's gonna go to the elect men. They're gonna seek out help in those days. Just like that, what happened to me at work, or they're gonna come after the elect man for help. Because it's gonna be hell. Alright, just imagine they get creeped out from a man following them in this day and age. What do you think is gonna happen when Jacob trouble comes? They're going to humble themselves quickly. They're going to humble themselves quickly. Now the scripture says what? Behold, famine and plagues and tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendments. So you're going to see famine, plagues, people dying from strange sickness, illness, tribulation, anguishes. People dying from gun wounds, gunshots. People are starving to death. You think the woman is not going to be scared in those days? Yes, she is. And she's going to end up fulfilling this prophecy in Isaiah 4 and 1. It says what? And in that day, 7 shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apron. Only let us be called by thy name and take away our reproach. And that's what's going to happen very soon. They're going to seek out the men of the Lord to take away their reproach, their sins, their wickedness, so they could be delivered out of the judgment that's about to come to pass. Because people that is joined in with America is what? They're going to be cut off. Let's get Isaiah 13 to 13 verse, I believe it was verse 15. Yep, it says this: everyone that is found shall be thrusted through, and everyone that is joined unto them, unto America, shall fall by the sword. All right, what is the sword? What is the sword that YAHAWASHI is about to bring to Babylon the Great? The sword is the nukes. It's the nukes. So if you're joined hand with America and you're with America philosophy and you took the mark of the beast, because that is what's about to come to pass, you're going to be what? You're going to be utterly destroyed. You're going to be utterly destroyed with thermonuclear missiles. All right, and the woman doesn't know all those other stuff. Now, there is some women out there that do knows about the mark of the beast, that do know about the end time, but the majority of them doesn't. So they're going to seek out for help, and they're gonna come upon you like men. That's what's gonna happen very soon. And we're in that days when that's happening right now. Some women out there is already thinking about doing polygamy. A lot of women is thinking about polygamy. A lot of women is just need a man now because they can't handle this anymore. You know, we're entering that time where all hell about to break loose, and they're gonna, you know, they're gonna look for a man. All right, and some of their men's gonna be dead in the streets. All right, let me grab this scripture. Isaiah 3, verse 25 says, what? Thy man shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war. All right, so someone's gonna fall by the sword. That means someone's gonna fall dead in the street because they were trying to protect the woman, or they were trying to find food for the woman. They're gonna fall in the streets and Jacob trouble. Some of them is gonna lose their man through war because the man got deployed and his ass got murked in the Middle East or murked in Venezuela or murked in somewhere else. And now he's dead. Now she's lonely. She's mourning. That's what's about to come to pass. And what do you think the woman's gonna do? You think she's gonna just cry and not find it? No, she's gonna find another person to protect her. And that's exactly what's gonna do. That's exactly what she's gonna do. She's gonna find a man. You know, she's gonna look for the man. And that's what's about to come to pass very soon. Where she look, man, this is you know, this prophecy is coming true. All right. We do talk about the destruction, thermonuclear missiles. We do talk about all the other stuff, but this one is coming true swiftly because like, you know, I just gotta, you know, I'm not gonna say that's what happened to me at work. You know, it sort of was, but you know, I was just using that as an example of how this prophecy is gonna come true. You know, the fact that we're still in an age where there's security cameras and there's police officers and law enforcement, and they were still scared. How much more when there's none of those at all? When there's no law enforcement, when law enforcement is against you, because Trump is going to use these troops against his citizens. He's going to do that. So a lot of these women, they're gonna go straight to the man, and that's going to come to pass swiftly, very soon. All right. But that's all I want to get into today. I thought it was a good topic to go into because that's basically what I just witnessed at work, you know? I want to give all praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH for giving me the opportunity to do a lesson today. I do want to give double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching the truth by using precept upon precepts and line upon line. Shalom.